appreciate his time. Now, we have, of course, on and off throughout the last 2 or 3 months, looked at football programs. We're still inside the Big Ten. And Craig Smoak, our good friend Barry Odom, new football coach, head coach at Purdue and the Boilermakers.
Yes, and this all by design, of course. I wanted to spend 20-plus minutes on the Purdue schedule, but we're short on time. But we all thought about it. We're like, well, Scott Drew has a history in the state of Indiana. Purdue's in Indiana, so that's why Scott Drew is the logical lead, and it all makes sense. This was all pre-planned out and totally organized. But, no, in all seriousness, Purdue was terrible last year, and they had to fire their head coach, and that's why Barry Odom is now the new man in charge there for the Boilermakers, fresh off their 1-11 season under Ryan Walter a year ago. So new skipper, new look, and hopefully some new results for Purdue. But the Ryan Walters there, like I remember when they hired him, I don't know what I thought about it at the time, but I didn't think he was going to be as quick of a stint as it was. I mean, he was, boom, blink of an eye out of there. It was just very clear that they needed to make a change, and I think Barry Odom's a really good hire, so I'm excited to see what he can do and try to pump some life into that program. But this is not to get into all those details. This is just take a look at the schedule. We're trying to get through everybody in the country, and we're going to be cutting tight, I think. But here we go with Purdue. Saturday, August the 30th, Ball State, 11 a.m., Big Ten Network to open up the season. So Purdue should be feeling pretty good about being 1-0, should be feeling pretty okay about being 2-0. Southern Illinois, Saturday, September the 6th, be a night game on Big Ten Network. So Big Ten Network subscription, a must for Purdue fans, as well as a Peacock membership and probably Paramount Plus as well. So isn't it great being a college football fan watching games on TV these days?
Yep.
Man, so Big Ten Network games. Then they get into the Big Ten schedule starting in week number 3, as on September the 13th, they will be at home against USC and Lincoln Riley's Trojans. Then the following week at Notre Dame, their first road trip of the year will be to South Bend, so not that far away, but very notable. That'll already be announced, or has already been announced, as an NBC 2:30 kickoff, and that's where their schedule first breaks. The first month of the season, 2-0 looks really possible. 2-2 looks very likely.
Yeah.
So Ball State, Southern Illinois, USC at home, and then go to Notre Dame and then take a break.
The good news is they don't leave their state for a good long while. And we'll talk about that in a second. But the first 3 at home, and then you go and play what's probably going to be a really tough Notre Dame team. But 2-2, again, that gives you a little bit of confidence. But they do, like, overall, like this is it's like front and back loaded a little bit for them. Where
at the end I mentioned like who they miss out on and all that. Like there's not a lot they miss out on in terms of the top teams in the league if you're going off of a year ago. And speaking of that, when they do return from their bye week, it'll be the Illini. Illinois comes to Purdue for that one on Saturday, October the 4th. October the 11th, they hit the road for just the second time. So they're going to get all the way almost to mid-October before their second road trip, and that will be to Minnesota. But the thing about that is now there's a lot of road trips in the second half of this schedule. So they'll go to Minnesota on October the 11th, to Northwestern October the 18th, come back home to take on Rutgers on October the 25th, and then back on the road November 1st, get the month started in the Big House, Ann Arbor against the Wolverines. The following week, Ohio State. They get Michigan, Ohio State back-to-back. But Ohio State at their place on November the 8th. Then November the 15th, back on the road to Washington for a bit of a lengthy road trip. And then they get to take a breath before gearing up for one final game there at the end of the year, which I'll go ahead and just get to that. It's their only non-Saturday game, but it will be the in-state rivalry there, Purdue, Indiana. Purdue, the home team, on Friday, November the 28th on NBC Peacock. That game also announced. So that is the second part of their schedule. So that is that's pretty dicey, man. Illinois at home, at Minnesota, at Northwestern, Rutgers at home, at Michigan, Ohio State at home, at Washington, then a break, and then Indiana at home. How are you feeling about the Boilermakers?
I don't feel great about that last run as much as we love Barry Odom. I think he's going to do a great job there. But to have to play I mean, these are tough runs. USC, Notre Dame, Illinois are 3 games in a row you have to play. Then you get, a chance.
And who knows, like a Minnesota
But like Minnesota, Northwestern, and Rutgers, those are the ones that you're probably going to have the smallest amount of spreads in, whether you're the favorite or not in any of those 3 games.
Yeah.
But particularly Minnesota and Rutgers are pretty good. I mean, like they're not 3 and 9 teams, that they're usually right now bowl teams. And so that's mostly bowl teams you're playing on your schedule. And then to have to go 4 games in a row against Michigan, Ohio State, Washington, and Indiana.
Yeah,
it makes me think that
is there a tougher on paper 4
like when
game
Nebraska
stretch?
pissed off the commissioner during COVID? Remember?
Did they take Tony Petitti's parking spot or something?
I know.
And he said, "Hey, that's mine." And you were only 2 spots down. It's like, oh, you should have moved the car.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so they will not play Oregon unless they're in the Big Ten championship game. They will not play UCLA. They will not play Penn State either. Those are, I think, the most notable teams that are not on this schedule. But they do get a handful of pretty good teams. Who else? No Iowa, no Nebraska either on that schedule. So they do miss Wisconsin as well. Yeah, so I think that's the bulk of the teams they miss out on. So there's Nebraska, Wisconsin, Oregon. Those are all games that you could that could be uphill battles as well. So I don't know how much of a break you get either way and who you miss out on, because who you do play, no Michigan State either. That'd be another one that they don't play. But still, man, that stretch of Michigan, Ohio State, Washington, Indiana is a hell of a final month of the season, and might be one of the tougher, if not the toughest, just on paper runs in the entire last month of the season by a team in college football this year. We'll see that ultimately, but pretty safe bet to take, I think, if you're that kind of person that gets into those types of bets, because that's nasty streak to end the season. And yeah, Rutgers could very well be good and dangerous. So there you go. There's the Purdue schedule and what they will be facing in 2025. And I think last I saw, and I'll double check, over under wins 3.5.
Whoa.
So you would think that a couple of those are going to be those first 2 weeks. And that means after that, you're hoping to break that by winning 2 of your last 10 games.
Yeah, it's going to either have to be at Northwestern or home against Rutgers is the games that you might win.
I think that what you'll see from Purdue is probably not a big jump in record this year. I think you'll see a big jump in style and the competence and the way that they play games. So knowing the way that Barry Odom coaches, especially with some of the, there's going to be a really good team on this list who has a scare against Purdue and gets a chunk bitten out of them, and walks away limping maybe a little bit going, oh, damn. All right. They're coming. We better watch out.
Don't steal Dion's line.
Yeah, they're on the way. And look, Purdue's got a pretty good, history in the middle of the Big Ten. They're not Big Ten giants, but they've seen their times. Joe Tiller was a great coach for them, and
wasn't Braum there?
Yeah, Braum was there. So they have their stretches. It's not impossible. So,
I'm gonna go ahead and say them winning the Big Ten is impossible this year.
It's not impossible for them to be good.
No, it's not impossible.
Anything's
possible.
This year is not going to be their year. Again, they took the last burrito at the buffet or something like that, and Tony Petitti's like, well, the hell with that.
Yeah.
So there you go. There is Purdue, another one in the books as we take a look through the schedules. I don't know. I haven't looked ahead, but I'm going to guess it's Rutgers.
It is Rutgers.
All right, cool. We'll do Rutgers tomorrow.
The Fighting Tony Sopranos.
Okay, so we've been through the Big 12 and the ACC.